today, if you have ever sabotaged yourself on your own weight loss journey, and we know you have, because we've done it to ourselves too.
I think almost everybody has sabotaged themselves.
Yeah,
at some point.
I think you can't be on a weight loss journey and not have done it.
That's right.
At some point, because it, like, even if it's mostly just in your thoughts.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
a lot of the time it really comes in our thoughts, and that's what does it. Like, we get these thoughts in our head and we start to doubt instantly.
And even if you don't pull the trigger on a bad decision from there, you've still sabotaged yourself because you're not believing that it's possible.
That's right. Yeah, you start to doubt, and like we've said before many times on videos, doubt is the devil's most prized possession. That's what he plays on, is doubt.
And discouragement.
Yeah, discouragement. Yeah. Doubt and discouragement.
Yeah.
So are you doubting yourself? Today's day 9. Or are you really excited because you've done so well and you're on day 9 and you're cheering yourself on?
Yeah. Yeah, day 9 already.
Yeah. Wow.
What's the word for day 9?
Focus.
Focus.
So the word today is focus. Are you focused? Like, often we're sliding into the finish line of the challenge, and then we go, oh, it's been a breeze. I've done really good. It's the weekend. I can just do whatever I want now.
Yeah, and I think that's when we do start to really get into the sabotage mode, because you're almost done the challenge.
Yeah.
So your brain kind of starts to go, oh, you're almost done. You did well up till this point. So one chocolate bar won't hurt, or one bag of chips, or one trip through the drive-thru won't hurt.
Yeah, that's right.
And then it starts a slow process downhill. In fact, I remember, or it can. You don't have to let it.
And then it's a big slide downhill.
Yeah. I always have this one memory when I was a teenager. One of my friends, we had a bit of a love-hate relationship, to be honest. She was always trying to lose weight. And I remember one day her and I decided to go for like a nice long walk to get some exercise. We were probably like 16 or 17, so we were older already. And we go for this nice long walk, and she goes, well, now I got my exercise, so that means that I can go have a large milkshake. And I will never forget that, because hearing somebody else say it, you can really recognize the ludicrousness
I was going to say the folly of your thoughts, the folly of your ways, because the scripture Proverbs talks about the folly of man's ways.
Yeah, and like, oh man, if you actually stop to break that down, there's so much wrong with that. Exercise should not be a punishment or a thing that you do so that you can go eat a whole pile of junk food, right? Exercise is something that we want to do for our health.
To embrace your health.
And secondly, one doesn't equal the other. Exercising for an hour doesn't mean that you can consume an extra 1,500 calories for the day and still think you're going to lose weight. Like, that's flawed thinking.
Yeah, that's like sabotage city.
Oh man, yeah, it is. That's exactly what it is. And so I often, when we talk about sabotage, think about that. And like, again, we've all done stuff like that. That example for me just stands out so much because, like I said, when you hear somebody else say it, it's like, really? Like, that sounds not right. But we think stuff like that in our own heads all the time, and there's nobody to call us out on it.
That's right. Or we think, well, what can I do so that I can go and have that smoothie, or not smoothie, like a milkshake. Yeah. Because I mean, there's unhealthy smoothies too, don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
You can make a very unhealthy smoothie. I'm talking about good smoothies. But yeah, wow. I don't know if I have a memory where it's like that. Yeah. But that's a good one.
Yeah. And I think that's just it, right? When we talk about sabotaging ourselves, part of the problem is that we are in our own heads and nobody else is in there with us. And so the logic and the rationale behind what we think sometimes is so off the rails.
Or in our minds, we can visualize ourselves already having eaten the whole thing, the whole bag of chips, or the whole sundae, or the whole milkshake, or whatever. Yeah. You can see it in your mind. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. Your mind can visualize such big things, such great things, but it can also visualize the opposite. It can visualize really good, healthy things. So our mind plays tricks on us very quickly. We have to really, really watch our minds.
Yeah, and that's really one of the things we wanted to talk about today with sabotaging ourselves, is like recognizing our own thoughts and feelings. Because when we just make decisions based off of our feelings, oh boy, are we going to fall off the train.
So before we dive into that, if you're new here, we're Ruth and Casey. We're a mother-daughter team, and we are doing a 10-day challenge. If you're just tuning in for the first time. There's lots of videos before this, and you can go through the whole 10-day challenge and watch the videos one day at a time.
Yeah.
So,
or you could binge it all in
that's
one
right.
day.
So let's dive into this whole topic of sabotaging ourselves. And, like you said, we've all done it. So in the comments right now, why don't you put down yes or no to self-sabotage? Have you done it? Have you done that yourself? You just said you have.
Yeah. Well, that example wasn't me, but I've
No.
definitely done it too. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done it too. Often I'm going to say we don't want to do it by ourselves. So we'll ask a friend to do it with us, because then we feel better about it.
Yeah.
Like we're like, hey, I really feel like going for an ice cream. Do you want to go for an ice cream with me?
Yeah.
Or
do you want to share something? And then we think that there's no calories in it
Yeah,
because
that
we've
it's
only had
okay.
2 bites or something, right?
Yeah. And so I know that I've done that
Mm-hmm.
because then it just makes me feel better. I'm not eating it alone.
Yeah.
Some people, though, on the other hand,
Like
want
to do
to
it
eat it
alone.
alone, so they don't know. So you're kind of like hiding under a bushel. Nobody sees what you're doing.
Yeah.
But here's a maybe aha moment. Someone does see you. Even if you think you're alone, you're not alone. Because when we've told you that we're inviting God into the journey every day, we surrender the journey, but we invite him to the table. We invite him along to walk this journey with us. He sees everything that we put in our mouth, whether we think it's hidden or not. It's not.
And that just brings up another point too, thinking about like secrecy. And we've talked so much over the years about like what we hold in secret holds a lot of power over us. And we have to bring it all into the light, because when we bring it into the light and we surrender it, then it doesn't hold the same level of power over us. Like, sneaking food, hiding food is a whole thing.
That's right.
Right?
It's a big, big topic. And if right now you can think of, oh, I've got Smarties hidden in that cupboard, and I've got chocolate bar in this cupboard, and I've got, oh, I'm going to eat this when my partner or my hubby or my friend or whatever isn't around, or when my husband's sleeping, that's when I'm going to go and eat that.
Yeah, or you go through the drive-thru and you park in the back corner and eat in your car so nobody can see you.
And you throw out the evidence quickly.
Yeah. Or you go grocery shopping and you buy a couple chocolate bars through the checkout line and you make sure you eat them before you get home and dispose of the evidence so nobody sees. Like that kind of behavior, I think, again, we can all relate to it. So it's not a judgment statement, but that kind of behavior just keeps us in bondage.
Yeah. We're totally in bondage, totally tied up in chains.
Yeah.
And we're never going to find freedom with food when we're carrying on with that kind of behavior. It's just not going to happen. We have to surrender that. We have to bring it all into the light, like we talk about.
Well, and you've got to think, if you're doing it, like if you're so ashamed of the behavior that you're doing, chances of it being a good thing to do are pretty slim to none, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're that ashamed for somebody to see what you're doing, it's probably something you shouldn't be doing.
That's right. Now, if there is different ways of thinking of it as well. Like if you're choosing to have something, you don't want to sabotage the person beside you.
Sure.
Well, then don't have it in front of them. Like that's totally different. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about you sneaking or me sneaking food so that no one sees it, so that I can say, well, I've done really well.
Mm-hmm. Or that you can kind of fool yourself.
Yeah.
Or like, I think a lot of the times it's because we're ashamed to have other people see what we're doing. I think most of the time that's what it is. Or like you're talking about different examples. Sometimes, like for me with small kids, sometimes I have to have my own thing so that it doesn't all get eaten by my kids, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So not eating it in front of them isn't me trying to sneak it and hide it because I'm embarrassed about what I'm doing.
No.
It's me having something for myself that doesn't all get consumed by my kids, right?
Yeah, and that can be anything. That can be fresh strawberries. It can be blackberries or blueberries, like things that you've bought and they've had their share and you want your share.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because that's treating yourself. Like that's being kind to yourself. You deserve good treats. And by good treats, I'm meaning like blackberries. They're very expensive and you go and purchase some and you're divvying them up in your family. Well, you should have some too. You shouldn't always play the martyr and sacrifice it all and give it to everyone else, but not you.
Yeah.
Because that's going to get old really fast.
Mm-hmm. So there's different examples where like eating it so other people aren't seeing isn't necessarily self-sabotage,
Yeah.
but a lot of the time it is. And you probably know. If you
Mm.
think about it and think about the way you're doing it, you know. So
And if you're trying to rationalize it and you have an excuse for it, just stop with the excuses right now, because rationalizing sneaking is never a good thing.
yeah. And there's an old saying, you've probably heard it. It goes, you can have reasons or you can have results.
Yep.
You can have reasons for why you're going to continue doing it. You can rationalize it away with all these reasons. You can make every excuse with all these reasons, but you're never going to get the results that you want that way. So you can have that or you can have the results. Like, take your pick.
That's right.
Choose your heart.
That's right. Because if you're going to continue on in that, you're going to be the same way now or heavier, because you're going to reap the rewards of what you're doing, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
We talk about, the Bible speaks about reaping the rewards of, we harvest what we've sown. And so if we're sowing, I'm going to call it cheating, because we talk about choosing or cheating. If we're cheating all the time, we're going to have a harvest that
reflects that.
That reflects that. It's not going to be what our goal was. In this 10-day challenge, if you decided to cheat every day, well, chances are you're not going to lose anything.
Yeah. And so let's talk about that for a few minutes. Choosing versus cheating. This is a really simple concept, but it's very revolutionary for a lot of people if you've never heard it before, because almost every one of us who's been on all the horrible fad diets, we've cheated on our diets, right? Because we hate what we're doing. Yeah, it's a cheat day. Or, oh, I'm just going to cheat right now. Oh, this, oh, that, I'm just going to have a little cheat. I'm going to cheat. But how is cheating ever a good thing, right? And that's not to say you're never going to have the thing that you're cheating with, but we have to change our language from cheating to choosing. Because when we talk about it like cheating, it makes us feel guilty and shameful about what we're having. Because
just think of the word cheat.
Yeah.
The word cheat doesn't have a positive mindset. It makes me think of cheating on an exam, or cheating on your spouse, or cheating on, I don't know, anything, but it just doesn't have a good feeling within me. Like, my mind goes to the bad things, the negative.
Yeah. And so, like, the other aspect about it is, like, you're actually not cheating. You're choosing.
That's right.
Right? You're not, like, nobody forces you into this, right? You're saying, I'm going to do this. You are making a choice and taking ownership over the decision, taking responsibility for the decision makes you think differently about it.
It does, because then it makes you think, why am I cheating?
Yeah.
I want to lose weight, so why am I cheating? I'm only cheating myself. You're only cheating you if that's what you're doing.
Yeah. You're sabotaging yourself.
Yeah.
And again, it's so easy to sabotage ourselves. I think it's like we talked about. We get to day 9 on a 10-day challenge and we're like, oh, I'm almost there. I'll just
It's the
do
weekend.
this.
I'm
It's the
gonna
weekend.
cheat.
Yeah. Or, oh, I'm going out for dinner. I'll just, pretend it's not this. Or, oh, like, we rationalize till the cows come home.
That's right.
And then we just sabotage our efforts. The other things that we kind of had talked about, like ways that we can sabotage ourselves, is like making decisions based on your feelings. That's a big one.
That's a really big one. Yeah. So often, we feel sorry for ourselves. If we're lonely, we feel sorry for ourselves. If things didn't go our way, we feel sorry for ourselves. If we were the ones that didn't get invited to the dinner party, we feel sorry for ourselves. There's so many times we get offended. We feel sorry for ourselves and we get into that pity pot mode. And then we want to just
drown our sorrows.
Yeah, drown our sorrows, and we just want to eat our emotions. And that happens so often. Honestly, I think that's the number one reason how we sabotage ourselves, is that we eat our emotions when we're depressed or lonely or sad. We often, celebrate and eat things in celebrations, but I think more often we do it when we're sad and lonely and we're depressed, because we think that it's going to make us feel better. And in reality, it probably does make you feel better for the 5 minutes that you're eating it. But then what it does, it just creates this cycle of shame where then you're just depressed because you ate it. And you feel guilty because you ate it. And then you're down on yourself because you ate it. And you just spiral down. And That's just another whole sabotage cycle that cheating happens. When we cheat, that's what happens. We're
Yeah.
just spiraling down.
Well, and another way that we often sabotage ourselves too is kind of exactly what you're saying. We make one bad decision and then we let that just derail everything.
Yeah.
And that is like one bad decision doesn't send you all the way back to the starting line.
No.
Right? Not at all. But what we do then is we get in our heads about it and we're like, well, we get all or nothing thinking about it, right? And we're like, well, screwed that one up. You know what? Well, I already ate a donut and it's only 10 o'clock in the morning. So I might as well go through the drive-through for lunch and have a milkshake in the afternoon and then stop on my way home for something else and then have pig out for dinner. And right. And then we totally derail ourselves. When in reality, the donut that you had at 10 o'clock this morning, yeah, might not have been the greatest decision, but you can recover from that.
That's right.
And so
Make
that's
the next decision count.
Yeah. And so when we fall off the wagon and we don't get ourselves back up, that is such a bad way to sabotage ourselves. But like, I mean,
Yeah.
done it. Been there, done that.
I know. We think that when we've made a mistake, we've eaten something unhealthy, we have completely ditched it all. We ditch it all. We've fallen off the wagon, and we always use that fallen off the wagon scenario. But it's like, you're still hanging on. Like, we're gonna come back and get you because you can get up again. Just keep on running. Keep on getting up. We'll wait for you. We'll slow down so that you can get back on the wagon. Just get back up again.
Yeah, instead of sit there in the dust and let the wagon get 10 miles down the road ahead of you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
it's
my.
bad.
It's bad. It's self-sabotage is just so bad.
But can I just say with that whole example, like first you eat the donut first thing in the morning and then you ditch your whole day or you ditch your whole
We've all done
thing.
it.
We've all done it. But at what rate do we start thinking about how that makes us feel physically? Like, let alone how it makes us feel mentally and emotionally. We feel horrible. But when we eat so bad like that, when we overeat, when we eat just junk, we feel so bad, right? We get bloated, we get heartburn, we can't do our pants up, we get headaches,
Yeah.
why do we do that to ourselves?
Yeah, exactly. Why do we do it to ourselves?
Like, it doesn't feel good in any part of your body. It doesn't feel good, like, in your stomach. It doesn't feel good emotionally, mentally. Like, nothing about that feels good.
Yeah, what it does is our self-esteem just like it crashes.
Yeah.
Instead of having this progress going forward, we go backwards. We're spiraling down. And like you just said, emotionally, it's a wreck. We're a train wreck because we're beginning then to say things to ourselves. Our mind goes to the negative, and we're saying things like, I can never do it. I'm never going to win. I'm just defeated. And then we go around in this defeatist attitude, which as women of faith, we are called to do the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Because with Christ, we can have the strength to move forward. We can do it. We can get up and keep going forward. Philippians 4:13, I can do all things. That means getting up again.
Yeah.
And we just have to stop saying that we're just ditching it all, saying that we're going to sit in the dust, that we can never do it. No,
Yeah, like we tell kids all these things, like the little engine that could, right? I think I can, I think I can. We try and instill all of these positive thinking things into kids, like you can do anything, you can be anything, la la la. And then we grow up and we tell ourselves we can't do it.
Yeah, wow.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's a wild ride. But a weight loss journey is a wild ride.
It is.
Right? There's just no way around it.
We just have to stop with the self-sabotage because honestly, it's killing us.
Yeah.
And so take ownership. We're choosing. We're choosing this day whom we are serving. We're choosing this day to put healthy things into our body. We're choosing this day not to cheat. We're choosing this day to change our language. We're choosing this day to renew our minds. We're choosing this day to take action, to make healthy choices.
Mm-hmm.
It's your choice. It's my choice.
Yeah. And we already talked a little bit about it, but when we talk about choosing, we often talk about like we have to choose our hard. It's hard to stay stuck where we are. It's hard to stay overweight. It's hard to not like yourself. It's hard to continue feeling like crap when you overeat and you eat all the junk. That's all hard. It's also hard to make changes and create a new healthy lifestyle and lose weight. That's hard too. But one hard is going to get you the life that you want and that you say that you want. The other one is going to keep you stuck, but it's easier in the moment.
That's
So
right.
you've got to ask yourself, am I willing to sacrifice what I want right now for the sake of what I ultimately want? And that's like Craig Groeschel, he's a pastor of Life Church. He says, like, your life is moving in the direction of your strongest thoughts. And he also says, like, we have to think about what we want most and choose what we want most over what we want right now. Otherwise, we don't meet our goals.
That's right. So if your goal is to lose weight, to feel better, to gain health, just remember, even 5 pounds can change your health, your outlook. 5 pounds takes like 20 pounds of pressure off your knees.
Mm-hmm.
Even 5 pounds and eating healthy can change your whole digestive system. 5 pounds eating healthy can change the trajectory of your life. It can transform your life.
Yeah, cutting back on your sugar can take you from pre-diabetic to no longer pre-diabetic. Like,
yeah, we've had women working with us who have completely gone off of all their type 2 diabetic medications.
On the recommendation of their doctor.
Yeah, not us.
Right?
From
like,
their doctor by following our plan.
Yeah.
So just keep on keeping on. Stop sabotaging yourself. Stay focused. You're on day 9.
Yeah.
You can do it.
And if progress is slow, that's okay.
Yeah, because
if it feels, sorry, go ahead.
It's about your overall health.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if there's seemingly no progress, that's okay. Keep going.
Keep going.
Good things
gonna come.
Are still happening.
That's right.
And so stop sabotaging yourself. Just stop.
I'm going to read you a verse. And this is a really good verse to go along with this. And it is from Matthew 26, verse 42. I'm just going to read it's 41, sorry. Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. I'm going to stop right there. Like, if you have been hiding and sneaking food, it's time to find all that food that's hiding and move it into the light. It's time to get the temptation out from underneath you, because it's just sabotaging yourself. So we have to watch and pray. What do we need work on? What do I need work on in working on temptations that are around me? What do you need work on working on temptations that are around you? But we do know this one thing. When we invite God to the table, he sees it all. And so when we bring everything into the light, our journey is going to go a whole lot smoother. Mm-hmm. We're going to be making healthier decisions when we do that.
And we know that no temptation has overtaken us except what is common to man, right?
That's
and
right.
We can withstand the temptation. There is always a way out.
That's right.
But we have to choose to take it.
That's right.
Right? And with food, somehow it seems like we don't think that we have to take it. We don't want to take it. We just want to indulge.
I'm also going to say it's not really talked about in churches very much.
Yeah.
When's the last time you heard a sermon on eating healthy or treating your body like a temple? I don't remember the last time I've heard a sermon on that. Like, treating your body like a temple means more than what you watch on television. It means what you put into your body, what you put on your body. Treating your body like a temple is like, you need to do some research on what that means for you. Mm-hmm. I know what it means for me, but it might look different for you. We can't all be the same. But what you're consuming and how things harm your body versus how they benefit your body is something that we really need to take note of. Mm-hmm.
I think so much of it is just because we've normalized unhealthy food and unhealthy eating behavior so much in our culture that it's completely normalized in the churches too.
Yeah.
Right? And we've talked in the past a lot about, like, if you go to church, so often stuff is centered around food, and it's not good food most of the time. It's junk. Like at our church, and again, not that this is inherently wrong or bad, but in the summertime, they have popsicles and ice cream sandwiches outside after the service every week in the summertime. It's not sinful to have an ice cream sandwich, but we're just normalizing the behavior, the junk, all that kind of stuff. And like, and I think there's another large problem that happens where there's this whole idea and mentality that it's too expensive to eat healthy,
Yeah, that's a big one.
right?
We tell ourselves that. That's another way to sabotage yourself.
Yeah, and in the church, I think there's a lot of like poverty mentality sometimes going on in churches that like we can't afford it, we can't afford it. And like there are realities to our budgets, of course, right? There's a reality to my budget.
Yes.
Right? I can't go out and buy everything organic, but I can't use my budget as an excuse to consume only garbage.
Yeah.
Right? And like, you know, if you are in a situation where you legitimately cannot afford to buy groceries, well, then you need to go get a different kind of help.
That's right.
Right? Like that's a, yeah.
Yeah, that's a different topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, think about that. Think about when the last time you've heard about treating your body like a temple, not a trash can. I don't know if we've ever heard that. And so it needs to be talked about. You know, there's scriptures that say, don't eat too much honey or it'll make you sick.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to take these scriptures and use them because that's part of it. We can't overindulge in anything.
Yeah.
It's going to make us sick.
But I think we also, lots of churches, like we don't want to be offended in church, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
we live in a world where people are offended so easily. And we live in this world too, where commentary on health and weight and living healthy has become synonymous with self-worth. And so then as soon as there's any talk about like it's not healthy to be, you know, morbidly obese, there's nothing healthy about that. But when we start talking about stuff like that, people take that offensively and think that you're commenting on their self-worth. But those are two completely separate conversations. So I don't know. There's just a lot of complicated issues around it.
So we can understand why pastors aren't having that, you know, in-depth conversation, but we still have to read the scriptures and see that it says don't eat too much honey.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think what we're saying is start to choose your hard. There's choosing good things, and we've talked about good, better, and best yesterday. There's choosing, if you're going to indulge in something, just do it in moderation. Use portion control, self-control, because we have the fruit of the Spirit. We have to develop that. We're never called to overindulge.
Mm-hmm.
And so
in anything.
No, in anything.
Not just food.
Not in our finances, not even in cleaning. Like you can overindulge in cleaning. That's not healthy either. It's about balance in our lives. It's all coming back to moderation and balance.
Mm-hmm. And that's a hard thing. That's a hard thing for every one of us in at least one area of life.
Yes.
You might have it all together in eating, but you might not have it all together in in keeping your house tidy, right? Or in your finances.
And the reason I said that is because I had a cousin who was really obsessed about cleaning, and she couldn't stop cleaning. So we can get over obsessed about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
You know, our minds can play havoc with us.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I have written down here that the antidote to self-control to self-sabotage is to embrace self-compassion.
Mm.
Self-compassion, because so often self-sabotage has stemmed from trauma or childhood abuse or having really low self-esteem or being rejected multiple times, or maybe once. But we have to practice self-compassion. Let's bring everything out into the light. Let's surrender our journeys right here, right now, and focus on moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if you need to go get help to sort through some of that mess in your head, then go get yourself some help.
There's nothing wrong with saying, I need help.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's all for today. Remember, you're choosing, you're not cheating.
Yeah. And if you're here watching, tell us in the comments how you tend to sabotage yourself on a weight loss journey. Is it sneaking food? Is it rationalizing behavior? Like, what is it? How do you sabotage yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will be back tomorrow. And just know that if you are looking for our plan is in the link in the
Yeah.
description. And we're almost finished this challenge. It's day 9. So we're really excited to celebrate with you. We know there's been many, many victories, many non-scale victories, and there's going to be scale victories, and we want to celebrate with you.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, you don't get on the scale until day 11. So you still have the rest of today and tomorrow on this challenge.
So Monday morning, if you're doing it
Yeah.
on the days that we're on.
Weigh and measure on Monday morning is, yeah.
Yeah.
And we're excited to hear about your results. So we want to know about them. Remember to also be accountable in our Facebook group, if that's where you're choosing to be accountable, but be accountable.
Just remember your 4 steps, your homework for each and every day. Surrender the journey, be accountable with what you're eating, drink your water, move your body.
You can do it. So remember, treat your body like a temple.
Not a trash can. See you tomorrow.